Rowan hunting, thankfully, is way easier than Lynn hunting. His scamming zone from yesterday was ruined thanks to that Templar, but he has a set few spots where he is likely to be. Busy streets are a must to draw large crowds, and they need to have enough space for him to set up without getting in the way of any established shops. I have a good guess on where he'll be today, based on his normal site rotation patterns. Sure enough, I find him on the first try. Ooh, nice try, Mom, but as you can see, it was here all along. Better luck next time. I smile a little, approaching behind Rowan and giving him a light pat. Whoa. Stay to the front of the, oh, Vita. Hey there, kiddo. Things going okay? I nod. Good to hear. You need something, or you here to help? Well, I should help. And it's not like my questions are super urgent. Both, I murmur. He smiles wider. Fantastic. All right, folks, now that my lovely assistant is here. I work the con with him for a while, trying to be as attentive as possible. I want to get better at helping Rowan, but I also noticed something the other day that I want to pay extra close attention to. Rowan is making a pretty significant amount of money. I'm not great with money. It's not like I've ever had much cause to learn about it. I know the engraved kite and chips people call coins are made by the government somewhere in Skyhope, formed from the shed shells of some kind of domesticated monster. The designs are super complicated, and if I tried to make fake ones I'd have the city's best guards all up my ass before I could say investment fraud, whatever that is. But I know a bit about how much things cost, and it looks like Rowan could buy a lot more food than he actually does. So why doesn't he? I keep those thoughts to myself for now, whiling away the hours as Rowan's assistant. It goes wonderfully, in fact, until a familiar helmet appears. Why is that Templar back? We're in a completely different part of the city. He starts walking my way again, too. Oh God, am I found out? Can he see the soul I have stored away? Oh shit, that's it. I'm going to die. The Templar gets in line to play the game Rowan is running. He just waits, like any other patron. I give Rowan a concerned look. He mouths the words I have no fucking idea at me. This is happening, I guess. Rowan immediately swaps the game back to cups, so I'm not involved with it personally, thank goodness. Sitting next to him, I try to look even smaller than usual. Time ticks by slowly until the Templar finally, eventually, is next in line. 3 games, please, he rumbles, passing Rowan the cost for exactly that. Yes sir, Rowan says pleasantly, flourishing the cups. Behind his helmet, the Templar's face is unreadable. Rowan starts the game, doing his first run with no tricks, just fast movement. The Templar tracks the ball without trouble, correctly identifying the cup. Good eye, sir. I always wondered if it's hard to see out of those visors of yours. It can be, unfortunately, the Templar answers easily. The way they cut peripheral vision is not to my liking, but it is better than taking an arrow to the face. Rowan chuckles, starting the second game. I watch him weave an illusion for this one, flicking his fingers in magical patterns under the table to fake a single pass of the cup. I have to admit, sir, I'm surprised to see a noble Templar such as yourself at my humble stall. An honor, to be sure, but certainly a surprise. Rowan's words are easy and natural. He has the perfect poker face on, while I'm barely managing to not sweat enough to create a poo. The Templar guesses the correct cup again, utterly unfazed by the illusion. Truth be told, this is not the sort of game or business I care for, the Templar says. But nonetheless, it was not my intention to deprive you of your income yesterday. I should have approached you more discreetly. I apologize. Rowan grins, and not even I can tell if it's fake or genuine. The third round begins. Well sir, if your goal is to avoid depriving me of my income, you're gonna have to stop guessing all these balls correctly. Well, that is the nature of the game, is it not? It is a test of perception and skill. Right you are, sir, Rowan agrees. From behind the table, I see the ball rapidly pass from the cup to his hand, then from his hand into another cup in a single, fluid motion. No magic, just a simple, skillful cheat. This time, the Templar guesses wrong, and a delighted Rowan lifts all the cups to prove it. The Templar murmurs. Well done. I did not see that. Your mastery of your craft is impressive, young man. I have to say though, I think it is a waste of your talent. You could do much more than this. Rowan shrugs, still smiling. Unless that's a job offer, sir, there's not much more I can do for now. The Templar sits forward. And if it is? Silence hangs over the table, Rowan looking genuinely dumbfounded for once. I'd have to think about it, is all he manages to say. Please do, the Templar says, nodding politely. He holds out a hand, which Rowan takes into a firm shake. And you take care too, little miss, he continues, holding his hand out to me as well. Instinctively, I pull back, shying away. I don't know what Templars can do. Touching that hand might be the end of me. I have a stolen human soul inside my body. I latch onto Rowan, hugging him and burrowing my face into his side like a frightened child. Actually being frightened for my life probably helps sell it. Sorry, Rowan says apologetically, patting the top of my head. She's shy. The Templar sighs, sounding a bit dejected at the prospect of being so scary. Well, he says, setting the palm he held out down on the table. This is for her. Make sure you get her something good to eat, young man. His hand lifts, revealing a rather large coin. Will do, sir, Rowan says cautiously. The Templar nods and wanders off. I make sure to keep hugging Rowan until he's long gone. As a strategic maneuver, of course. Not because Rowan is warm and I like it. And not because his soul is pretty, either. Yeah, okay, it was all those things. I don't exactly get a lot of hugs. I'm going to savor this one while I can. Plus, Rowan's rainbow swirl soul is just delectable. Well kiddo, looks like you just got your first tip, Rowan eventually murmurs. I think now's a good time to pack up for the day. Yeah, I agree. The two of us do just that, gathering Rowan's props and making our way back to the hideout. He's abnormally quiet the whole time, though I certainly don't mind. The only things left for me to talk about are best done somewhere private. On the way home, it's so weird to have a home, as pathetic as mine is. Rowan uses the coin the Templar gave me to buy food. Enough food for all of the orphans, with change. It's going to be another well-fed day, apparently. 2 in a row is almost unheard of. I return to the shack and help hand out the meals. There's no cheering or weeping for the bountiful harvest, only ravenous mouths trying to survive. Yet while they don't show it, I know they're grateful. I was just like them a few weeks ago, and not really all that different now. With dinner served, Rowan and I retreat to the hidey hole below. He takes a glass and fills it with water from a bucket, sipping lightly before speaking. All right, kid. What did you want to talk about? Many things, but instead of saying them I blurt. I like your soul. Rowan spit takes, saliva and water showering the area around me. What? It's, cute, I clarify, face rapidly turning red. And pretty. It feels like a rainbow that moves. And it's big. Not as big as Lynn's, but much bigger than, I peter off, my words dying under Rowan's concerned gaze. Why the hell did I say all of that? You're, really taking to this, huh? Rowan murmurs, daring to sip a bit more water. Lynn said I should use it. It's part of who I am. And, I don't think I can not feel people's souls when I touch them. It just happens. He nods slowly, setting his glass on a nearby table. Okay. That makes sense. You awaken to an extra set of perceptions, then? That must be interesting. I guess. I'll just take the compliment, then. I nod, smiling. Are you gonna take the job? He frowns, tilting his chair back. Well, that's the thing, kiddo. For the life of me, I can't figure out what the fuck the job even is. What could a Templar want from a half-baked kinamancer that runs street cons? They've gotta have way better mages than me. And that bribe? I dunno, it smells fishy to me. I'm not a kiddo, I insist. Right. Anyway, Vita, didn't you have something to say about you? I nod as he picks up his cup for another drink. I think the Mistwatcher ate part of my soul last night. Once again, that drink ends up on my face. Rowan chokes and pounds on his sternum as I try to wipe myself dry. Please stop doing that, I request. It's not easy to get all that water. Stop saying crazy shit, then. The Mistwatcher ate your soul? Just a little bit of it. I took a sliver out and put it in Roscoe. My, stuffed bird? And it worked. He could move around and give me hugs. But then, in the middle of the night, something infinite and uncaring passed over me, dripping unimagined dreams and oozing undreamt realities. It could not touch, but it touched me anyway, caressing me absently as it stole, murdered, devoured some little shard, ignoring my mute, uncomprehending terror. Took it. Rowan frowned. And you think this thing was the Mistwatcher? Why? I hugged myself tightly. What else could it be? Rowan nods slowly. Any number of things we don't know about. But if something grabs wayward bits of soul, that would at least explain why the whole damn island isn't covered in soul stuff from dead rats. I frown, thinking. Yeah. But nothing ate Grigg. Except me, I mean. And I had him for longer. Rowan's smile strained. Whoops, I'm talking casually about soul murder again. Well, maybe it just eats at night? No, that doesn't make sense. If that were the case, naturally formed zombies would die at night. Could it be the materials? There aren't any like soul-controlled puppets that occur naturally, but you can find zombies at pretty much any battleground. I frown, nodding. Using dead bodies feels better, too. I just wanted to hug Roscoe. Rowan's smile becomes outright pained. Shit, was it the dead bodies thing? He tries to hide it with a drink of water, but his perfect poker face from the game seems to fail on the subject of me. Sorry, I murmur. I'm kinda getting used to this really fast, I guess. Yeah, Rowan sighs. Well, it feels good to do things we're good at. I can imagine how excited you are to have something special about you, that only you can do. But try not to forget, Vita, you are a death mage. You can't take power like that lightly. I will help you as much as I can, Vita. I promise. But I need you to promise me not to lose your humanity along the way. Okay? That's easier said than done, Rowan. I'm already a living blasphemy, doesn't that disqualify me by default? I might need some help with that, I blurt, trying to push down tears. It was such a hard thing to say, for some reason. I feel like I'm almost a totally different person lately. Everything before now is just an awful blur. Starving day after day, barely surviving, being nobody, but now I can just kill people. I ran into these two murderers today. Just standing over a body. I thought they were gonna kill me too. I look up at him, terrified. His face is serious, but he's listening. So I decided to kill them first. I planned it. They didn't attack, but if they had I would have ripped one apart and made him kill his friend. I think. They tried to recruit me after that. A long silence stretches between the two of us. Rowan takes another drink of water. You're way too young for all this, kid, he says. I'm not a kid, I answer, scowling. Yeah, Rowan agrees. Maybe not. Overhead, the familiar pitter-patter sound of rain begins. Oh shit, is the mist thimble here already? We gotta go board up, Vita. Come on. I nod, following Rowan up the ladder. And Vita? We'll help with all that for sure. Lynn and I are in this with you all the way. But you have to decide the person you want to be, yeah? Yeah, I agree. Okay, Rowan. With the kids working together, it doesn't take us long to seal the shack for rain. Nighttime now fallen, everyone gets into bed to sleep. Lynn, however, is oddly absent. Not returning before dark was odd for her, and I can't help but worry. On the bright side, at least the Mistwatcher didn't come back tonight. I know this for sure, because I didn't sleep a single second. Hey, Vita. You okay? Rowan's face peeks over me as I stare up at the ceiling. I nod slowly, not wanting to talk about how awful I really feel. Well, you look like shit, Vita, Rowan says, apparently unfooled. Did you sleep at all? I shake my head no. How could I? No matter how exhausted I was, the panic kept my eyes open. What if it returned? Rowan sighs. Okay. You need to stay in bed, kiddo. Get some rest. You didn't sleep through Craig's car either, right? How long have you been up now? Over 30 hours, at least. That's not good for you. I do want sleep. I'm exhausted beyond belief. Yet I have to know. Where's Lynn? I murmur. I don't know, Rowan says, tossing off his nightshirt and throwing on something fresh. But I have a few good guesses, and I'm gonna go find her. You stay here and sleep, okay? No following me. I frown and nod. Rowan was very much in his no arguments mode. Finishing his preparations, Rowan stands up with a stretch and makes for the slab of wood that the shack uses as a door. All right, kiddos, I'm heading out. Stay out of trouble, okay? For a moment, I almost ask him to stay with me. To help me fall asleep, to be there in case it comes back. But I can't do that. He has to go help Lynn. I clutch Roscoe tightly to my chest, willing my body not to shake. Is Lynn gonna be okay? I ask. Yeah, Vita, Rowan says. I think so. She was probably just out late and holed up somewhere for the rain. We'll be back before you know it. Just make sure to rest, okay? I nod. Okay. He nods back and departs, leaving me alone with the other kids. I grab a spare shirt to wrap around my eyes, blocking out the light. With Roscoe cuddled close and cloak wrapped around me alongside the blankets, I rest. I wait. And eventually, finally, I nod off to sleep. Ever shifting, ever changing, a beautiful, multifaceted rainbow. Warm, huge, pulsing like a heart, kindness and light. Two souls I've felt so closely. No one has ever treated me like Lynn and Rowan. They fed me. They helped me. They accepted me. They did all this and expected nothing in return. I recall the day I insisted I wanted to help, barely 2 weeks ago. The surprise on their faces. The fire they lit in my heart. My whole life, I had nothing. I was worth nothing. Survival was my only concern, and I hadn't even been particularly good at it. But they filled that emptiness within me. I can only imagine my own soul, before that day. Tiny. Weak. Black. A dread nothingness, hopelessness personified. It looks the same, still. So small, so dark. Yet now, something bright flashes inside, like lightning striking within a cloud. It grows. Someday, the flashing light will break free, and not even I know what I will become. A second soul floats within me as well. Dull, tinted red. A monochrome person, fractured and barely functional. There is something wrong with this soul, as large as it was. Yet I know it would be delicious no matter what. When I dissolved a person into nothing but materials, all that mattered was their size. I hunger for it. I am so weak. So frail. In body and soul, I am almost nothing. I couldn't help it. I have to eat. I tear the stored soul out of myself, gulping it down greedily. The kids ask what I'm doing and I kill them too, ripping their lives free from their bodies. Souls everywhere. Lynn and Rowan return, and I am waiting. They can't fight back against the zombies I made from the bodies, they are too weak in heart. They die and I eat them as well, together for. With a scream I wake up, a chill sweat clinging to my body. What was? I didn't. A quick look around and I see the kids are fine. The soul I'd taken yesterday is still safely inside me. Rowan and Lynn are. Down the hatch, one of the kids says, causing me to jump in terror. Down the hatch? Oh God, did I really? Rowan and Lynn said you should join them down the hatch. In the secret spot. When you wake up, he continues. Right. Duh, that makes more sense. Casting off the last throes of the dream, I stand up, shaking. Everyone is okay. I'm okay. I don't realize I'm still hugging Roscoe in a death grip until I try to go down the ladder. Whatever, I'll bring him with. It's okay if Lynn and Rowan see. I spot them immediately. They're both sitting down next to each other, Lynn leaning on him. Rowan looks completely exhausted, he's worn down, depressed, confused. Lynn, meanwhile, looks kind of like I did after Greg got his hands on me, back when he was still alive. She's beaten bloody, her face a complete mess of bruises and swelling. I suspect her condition is similar underneath her leather armor. Hey, Vita, Lynn rasps out as I hop off the ladder. Did you sleep well, kiddo? I swallow. No, not at all, but this was hardly the time for that. What happened? Lynn laughs. Fuck, but it sounds so genuine, even through her obvious pain. Screwed up a joint job. Business partners weren't happy. It's not as bad as it looks, kiddo. I'm not a kiddo, I protest automatically. Yeah, of course. Sorry Vita. She tries to grin, but her mouth is a red mess of missing teeth. A boiling feeling wells up inside of me, demanding death. Lynn is. She's just so good. Who would hurt Lynn? Who would dare? I'm going to tear these bastards apart. No. No, 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 I'm just some kid. There's nothing I can do. The knowledge of my weakness douses my anger. I'm weak, I barely know what's going on, and I made a promise to Rowan as well. Caution and care. That's how I have to deal with this. But it would be dealt with. For now, though, far more important things are right in front of me. I step in and wrap my arms around Lynn, ever so gently. Even with how physically broken she is, her soul is still so warm and bright. What happened? I ask quietly. Like I said, kiddo, I just messed up, Lynn says dismissively. I break off the hug so I can look her in the eyes. Even holding on to a stuffed animal doesn't detract from the intensity of my stare. I'm not a kid. Don't hide stuff from me. I want to help. Rowan and Lynn share a look. Vita, I'm not sure this is something you can help with, Rowan says frankly. I can do a lot, I insist. I'm weak and maybe I don't know much. Not yet, anyway. But I can help. I will. You've helped me for a year. Let me do the same. And if you don't, I'll find out on my own. Vita, please trust me when I say you should not be getting involved with, Rowan starts. No, fuck it, Lynn says, cutting him off. Vita, Rowan and I are in big-time Mondo debt. In exchange for this place we live in and assurance that no nasty types mess with the kids, Rowan and I work for the mob. I frown. If I recall correctly, the mob in charge of this area was the Broken Drockens? She nods. Yeah, those guys. We failed a big job yesterday 'cause I showed up so late. The boss was, not happy. She scratches the back of her head, wincing. I'll be fighting fit in a week or so, everything should be fine. You know how it is, the men just have to show how tough they are. She laughs again, though it regresses into a coughing, hacking mess before too long. She wipes a bit of spit blood from her lips. There's no need to worry, kiddo. Really. I didn't exactly enjoy getting my shit kicked in, but it's just what happens. You've been there, right? Yeah, and then I killed the guy who did that to me, I say flatly. Vita, Rowan begins warningly, but I talk over him for perhaps the first time in my life. I wanted to kill him, I continue. I really did. When he was just beating me to death. When I saw how much he hated me. How little he cared about anything that happened to me. How disgusting and angry and evil he was. When I saw how much he wanted me to die. I wanted him to die first, so I could live. I watch them both carefully. They're silent, expectant. I don't think they've ever heard me say this much at once. I'm not sure I ever have. That feeling is how I learned my power, I continue. Now, I feel your souls every time I touch you. I dreamt about eating them when I slept. I'm terrified, Lynn. I don't want to be a killer, I don't want to be a monster. But you can't tell me that when you were getting beaten to a pulp that you thought you deserved it. You can't tell me that you don't want to get back at them. You can't tell me that we all wouldn't be better off if you were free. A long, pregnant pause fills the room after that, only broken by another set of wet coughs from Lynn. You've really been thinking about all that, huh kiddo? Lynn murmurs after catching her breath. Not a kiddo, I answer. No, she agrees again. I guess not. Do you actually have a way to help? Rowan asks. I shouldn't need to remind you that using your powers publicly will get you killed, or worse. Even most criminals would report you to the Templars. Nobody fucks around with soul magic, Vita. Nobody except us, I counter. You get kinda sassy when you're fed and rested, don't you? Lynn comments with a grin. It's a valid question, though. What do you expect to actually do? I frown, thinking. It's not that I didn't have ideas, it's that I had too many and didn't know enough about any of them. Rowan, did you figure out what that Templar wanted with you? I ask. What? Lynn yelps, shocked. Templar? No, I haven't, Rowan says, scowling. Had he wanted to keep that a secret? It's been kind of a busy day, Vita. A Templar implied heavily that he had a job offer for me, Lynn. I don't know why. Well, I think you should figure out why, I say. Rowan sits backwards. I'd probably be out doing that now if one of my kids wasn't a friggin' animancer. How many times do I have to emphasize how dangerous it is for you to get close to them? If I'm close to them, and you're close to me. I scowl. Don't ignore it because of me. The Templars might be able to find zombies and stuff, we don't know for sure. But I had another soul inside when that Templar talked to us, and he didn't seem to notice a thing. So maybe I can't raise an army or whatever, but I can eat souls to get stronger. Rowan sighs, but it's a concessionary sigh. Vita. If you don't want to be a monster, why the hell are you even thinking about eating souls? I take a deep breath. Time for stupid idea number 1. What if I got souls outside the walls? What? Lynn and Rowan yell together. Vita, that's fucking crazy, Lynn continues. You'll die out there. You have no idea how powerful monsters can be. Hunters do it, I point out. I could join a hunter's guild. And hunters die. Besides, you can't be a hunter. You're weak, Vita. I'm weak, by hunter standards. They'd take one look at you and throw you out of the guild. You don't have weapons, you don't have armor, you can't show them your powers. The guild is pretty desperate, but they wouldn't even let you on a beginner team. I can get those things. And I can hide my powers. You said monsters are strong? And they have souls? It's not wrong to eat monster souls, right? They're not people. I know it's dangerous, but I could get really strong this way, Lynn. Then I can come back and help. Lynn shakes her head. Rowan scratches his mutton chops, looking increasingly concerned. It's a risky idea, Rowan says, and we don't know if it's wrong to eat monster souls. But all ways of getting strong are risky, Lynn. You know that. Still, I'd like to hear if you have any better ideas. I nod. I don't know about better, but I had ideas. Do you know a fat guy and a thin guy who go by Squigs and Friggs? Lynn's face immediately darkens. Where'd you hear about them? She asks. I ran into them on my walk the other day. I saw them kill a guy. Then I got really sassy at them and they tried to recruit me. I think I can be sassy when hungry, too. They're hired killers, Vita, Lynn says, scowling. I nod. I figured as much. I could get strong pretty fast if I joined up with them as well. Vita, you can't be an assassin. Lynn shouts, horrified. Why not? I counter back. I'm a necromancer, Lynn. I have death magic. You're the one who told me that's part of who I am. Anything I do is going to involve death. She shuts her mouth. Besides, the assassins are going to kill people no matter what. This way, I'll be in a better position to kill other assassins too. Make the city a little safer. Lynn shakes her head, an expression of sadness taking her. Vita. Please. You can't think like that. Even killers have people who love them. Every death is a tragedy. I scowl. It's hard to disagree with that, but I want to. Did Greg's family miss him? I suppose I don't know. But I sure as hell wouldn't miss someone that beat me raw for baking bread wrong. My only other idea was to join the Broken Drockants with you and we could try to take them apart from the inside. I say frankly. I could help you guys out with what you do, we could work together, we could maybe make things better. Eventually, we could take them down. Absolutely not, Rowan says firmly. You are drastically overestimating yourself, Vita. Where are you even getting these ideas? You're not a criminal mastermind, you're not a trained hunter, you're a supposedly 16-year-old girl that we can barely feed enough to keep alive. The leader of the Broken Drockants has crushed more than one attempted uprising, and you're not the picture of subtlety. You don't understand these people, Vita. You're just going to get used as a pawn, chewed up, and spat out. Assuming you even survive. So what do you want me to do, then? I shout. Nothing? I'm fucking tired of doing nothing. That's not the person I want to be anymore. I'm not going to sit here and let them take all the money you make, Rowan. I'm definitely not going to wait around while Lynn gets the shit beaten out of her. And you know what? You can't stop me from doing what I want. So are you going to help or not? For a moment, all I hear is my own panting breath. I'm so worked up I can barely stand it. Is this it? Are they so obsessed with helping me that they wouldn't accept my help? Lynn sighs. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I've got your back for anything, Vita. Your family. And if this is what you have to do, you don't have to ask, kiddo. I'll help. I'm not a Yeah, I know, she says, cutting me off. Forgive us, would you, Vita? You grew up really damn fast. Now it's Rowan's turn to sigh. He only has one thing to say, though. So which one are you thinking? I don't like any of those options, but if you insist on picking one, it may as well be your favorite. I mean, the choice is obvious, isn't it? I say. I promised you, Rowan. Rowan raises an eyebrow as Lynn looks on in confusion. I promised you I wouldn't lose my humanity. So I don't want to kill humans to get stronger. I want to help people. Hunters do that, right? They work together and keep people safe. They're heroes. Lynn smiles broadly. You say something like that while holding a stuffed animal and expect me not to call you kiddo? She jokes. I scowl. Leave Roscoe out of this. She busts out into laughter, not stopping even as she begins to choke. Rowan just shakes his head. It's not that simple, Vita. It never is. No person and no organization is all good or all bad. The Hunters Guild is going to have its infighting and politics the same as anyone else. But they're not assassins or mobsters, right? I press. Rowan looks pained. No, Vita, they're not assassins or mobsters. You do still have a point. But we're going to have to bust our asses getting you prepared for the fucking Hunters Guild. You'll need so much more food just to look like you're not dying. I frown. I don't want to take food from the others. We'll work something out, kiddo. I'm gonna have to steal you some gear, Lynn says, finally recovering from her laughing fit. We're gonna have to at least wait until I'm healed up for that. I nod. That reminds me. Can you teach me to sense danger like you? Rowan says I might have a talent for it, and it seems like it would be really helpful. Lynn grins. Yeah. Well, I dunno actually. Maybe. I'll definitely give it a shot. I dunno if I'm the teaching type, but it's not like I'll have anything better to do. Okay. I want to test some things real fast. Can you sense me right now? I ask. Is anything weird? She peers at me, head tilting. It's always on, so yeah. You feel pretty much the same as before, though. Why? I push the other human soul I've been hiding out of my arm, letting it rest on my palm. Do you feel anything different now? Lynn shakes her head. Still the same, Vita. Okay. I'm gonna eat this soul, then. Tell me if I feel different then. They blink. Wait. You're holding a soul? Lynn asks. Vita, where did you get that? I tilt my head. I told you. I ran into those assassin guys. I took the soul of the guy they killed. You're going to eat a man's soul? Rowan asks slowly. I frown, thinking about it. Why wouldn't I? I need to know if it's safe to store souls I find in my body. It seems like Lynn can't detect it, but maybe that's just because it's too small. If she notices a change after I eat it, that means it's hidden from her danger sense thing. If she doesn't, then we don't know whether or not her danger sense can detect larger souls. There might be other good uses for it later, but this seems like something that's best to know now. Yeah, I decide. They both stare at me. Is that weird? I wonder hesitantly. It's just. What happens to the soul when you eat it, Vita? Rowan asks. It becomes part of me, I answer immediately. So, that person, that individual, is living inside you? No, I tell them, shaking my head. They're dead. The soul gets all dissolved and stuff. So, the person never gets to go to the afterlife? Rowan asks. Oh, that's what he's worried about. I squeeze Roscoe a little. I don't really know. Maybe they get to go when I die? I'm sure they get put back together. There's no way I'm powerful enough to invalidate the afterlife, right? I hope that's right. I really hope that's right. Rowan scratches his head. Yeah. I guess there's no way, right? Do your experiment. I nod, then look at Lynn. After a short pause, she nods too. I open my mouth wide and drop the soul down my throat, letting the feeling of raw, dissolved power flow through me. It's the best meal I've had since Grig. I feel a little calmer, a little more clear-headed. Yep, Lynn mutters as I start to come down from the euphoria. I definitely felt that. It's not a big difference, but it's a difference. You're stronger. I nod. No snacking in front of people with a danger sense, Then, one more thing I want to test. Reaching my hand forward, I concentrate as hard as I can. When my hand is 4 inches away from Lin, I feel it. That warm, beautiful soul. Twice as far as last time, I murmur. I get better at sensing souls the more I eat, I think. Lin's eyebrows raise. Do you even need my help, then? She asks. She will, Rowan insists. Raw power is nice, but technique makes a huge difference too. If you actually learn how to do it right instead of just thinking really hard at it, Vita, I think it'll help even more than the soul-eating shit. Okay, I agree. Can you help me get some animal souls anyway, though? He sighs. Yeah, sure. I give Rowan a huge hug, which he accepts with middling grace. I have a plan, it sounds like. Train, learn, eat, grow. And once I can survive it, the Hunters Guild awaits. I never imagined I'd get a legal job. All I needed was some illegal magic to nab it.